though we covered the definition of a user story in our earlier video, let's recap briefly. The most popular Agile word for capturing product requirements or functionality from the perspective of the end user is user story. Generally, user stories are written in plain, non-technical language to help stakeholders and the development team communicate and work together. A user story typically follows a specific format, known as the as a role, I want goal, so that benefit structure. This format helps capture the who, what, and why of a particular feature or functionality. For example, a user story could be, as a customer, I want to be able to easily search for products by category so that I can quickly find what I'm looking for. The end user should receive value from user stories. User stories are arranged in a prioritized list known as the product backlog and are frequently written on index cards or in digital format. In Scrum, Invest is an acronym that stands for independent, negotiable, valuable, estimable, small, and testable. It is a set of criteria used to evaluate and define user stories or product backlog items. Each letter in the acronym represents a characteristic that a well-formed user story should possess. Here's a breakdown of each element. Independent. User narratives ought to stand alone and not rely on other narratives. For instance, I won't create separate stories for the password and the login if we are developing the functionality of the login screen. Technical, development, and testing phases of an independent mean should be able to be produced and delivered independently. Negotiable. User stories are not explicit contracts and should leave space for discussion and negotiation between the development team and the product owner. Given that Scrum is an empirical and pragmatic methodology, facts and concepts are subject to constant change. As such, user stories must undergo grooming sessions during which they will address many aspects and negotiate the optimal result. Valuable. User stories should provide value to the end users or customers. They should address their needs, solve a problem, or deliver a benefit as whole. Estimable. User stories should be able to be estimated in terms of effort or complexity. This helps the development team in planning and prioritizing their work. Small. User stories should be small enough to be completed within a single sprint. They should be manageable and focused, allowing for incremental development and delivery. Testable. User stories should have clear acceptance criteria that define the conditions for their successful completion. This ensures that the team can verify and validate the implementation. Invest is characteristic of good user stories. By following the Invest criteria, teams can create user stories that are well-defined, manageable, and provide value to the stakeholders.